Oh, you ever thought this will only take 5 minutes and then realized that you were comically wrong? Yeah, well, welcome to Parkinson's time. You see, my body and my brain have, well, let's just call it a miscommunication issue. My hands, they're on their own schedule. My fingers are boycotting. My legs, they're just here for emotional support. Suddenly, what should take 30 seconds has now become a full-body strategy session. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter how long it takes. Forward is forward, and we're still moving. So let's keep going. You got this.
Okay, so most people, they just tap on their phones and move on. Me, I try to open up one app and my phone opens up like 5. Trying to text, autocorrect turns, hey, how are you, into help, how are you? Swiping, hope you like random screenshots and accidental likes from 2013. And at this point, if I ever text you something really weird, just know that it was a team effort between me and my phone.
Falling asleep with Parkinson's, it's already a challenge. But then try to roll over, and suddenly you're in the middle of a full-scale military operation. You have to analyze the situation, trying to come up with the best strategy, then carefully shift your weight, slowly initiating the move, because too fast, the whole mission's compromised, and too slow, and you're never gonna make it. And when I finally make it to the other side, mission accomplished, job is done, the operation was a complete success. And then my bladder says, hey, switch your weight. Let's go to the bathroom.
In a world where the ground feels shaky and memory is optional, 2 men will rise, armed with microphones, dry humor, and a suspicious number of pill bottles. They'll face tremors, stiffness, and the ultimate challenge, recording a podcast without forgetting what they were talking about. This is where Parkinson's gets real. This is Life in Motion, the Parkinson's podcast. Rated P for please take your meds first. Now, grab your earbuds, unless you forgot where you put them. Then just turn the volume up because today's episode is ready to go. Now, here are Bryce and Brian.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to Life in Motion, the Parkinson podcast, live. I am Bryce, and of course, who's with me?
Hey, I'm Brian, or as the comment section calls me now, the expertly general news guy.
Expertly general news guy, and you earned it. And folks, I apologize. Of course, we're running a few minutes late, but that's what I was having Parkinson moments. I think, and Brian, did you see me smacking pills down there at the last minute when we heard the intros going? I'm hitting pills down. My chair's the wrong size, and what doesn't matter. But we are so glad you're here, and we are so glad that we are live again. I hope you enjoyed last week's program, Brian. That was so much fun last week. We got to hung out. We hung, and we hunged.
We chilled together.
we chilled out. We chilled out together. We sat on the same couch. I mean, I think that's the closest we've sat together in our lifetime, but we got to hang out a little bit, and we just thought it'd be super fun just to, hit record and just kind of, just do that. So we really hope you enjoyed that. And we're glad you're here today, though. This is amazing to see everybody showing up. And I mean, the comment section is going crazy. And if you're new here, this is a wild, crazy show. We start late. We end late. We start late. We don't know what we're doing, but we get her done. Right, Brian?
Absolutely.
There you go. And I want to say something to you. You came in. It's everybody's calling you the expertly general news guy. And Ryan, honest to God, man, you've earned it. I've been going back and looking at the show, and I've been editing them, and I'm like, that segment grabs me every time I watch it. I saw this before, but I'm going to listen again. So it's really good. And I don't know, again, that's why we did that last week, just so that this podcast started as just a simple idea. Just two guys with Parkinson's sharing what we've learned as we go. No scripts, no filters, just real talk and a lot of laughter, I think.
Yeah. And something interesting, going back to the news guy thing, we were at the PDIQ event last Saturday, and you did a great job, MC and moderating the event as well. And I know when they did the research overview, it was interesting. Half, if not half, more than half, or just slightly more than half of the topics that they chose to speak about, we have talked about on this podcast already.
We have.
So, it blew me away. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you.
You're totally right.
The good news is I'm on the right track, and it certainly builds me more confidence to continue. I'm continuing to do what I'm doing.
Well, there's
But
better
I
news.
feel a little bit better about it now, right?
You do, but there's better news because here's the truth. Okay, and this is no slant. We had some incredible scientists and researchers on the panel.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but here's the truth. When you say it, I get it. I understand it. You put it in terms that I can relate to. When I'm watching scientists and doctors and to the best of they're trying to dumb it down, and I'm going, you got to dumb down a little bit further. Got to dumb down a little bit further. You got to get to Bryce level here because I still don't understand what the hell you're talking about. And so, but when you say it, it's coming. You say it plainly. You say it the way that I get it. And so, to be honest with you, man, that's why I'm giving you big props here because
no, I appreciate it.
Lay it out, and I get it.
Where I developed that skill, if you want, or that expectation, even Bryce, was I did this for Parkinson's, and I've done it for heart and stroke in the past. But I was a lived reviewer for grant requests, and in those documents, the research scientist, clinician, whatever their title might be, are asked and must follow through on. They must do a one-page summary written in layman's terms at a grade 5 level. So that's what I try to do when I'm presenting it on here. Yeah,
that's amazing because it's exactly what we talked about. It was funny because I said they go, we're going to do grade 6, and I said, well, if that was grade 6, then I need grade 2.
Yeah,
I need grade 2. Like, give it to me in grade 2 because I want to understand it. I want to get it, but I'm not wanting to like dive into technical medical books and figure out what this segment of the brain connects to. I just want to know what's happening out there. How does it affect me? What can I do to do better? What can I, that type of thing. And that's why I love it. So if that's the kind of stuff, if you're like me and like Brian, and if that's the kind of stuff you like and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, join the movement, join the channel, get with us. And again, just a big shout out to everybody who is in the comments. I've seen people saying Minnesota. We got everybody saying, hey,
nice.
Has the podcast started? Yes, we're started now. We're here now. All right. We're and Margaret, hoping that headache stays okay. I mean, I'll get Brian to talk quieter for you, Margaret, because the headache, I saw you get a headache, and I don't want you to.
You usually tell me to speak up.
But anyway, today we have a good morning to Eileen. Eileen, guess what? I'm going to give some shout outs here. Ready? This one? This is Eileen. And she is a member of the Inner Circle. And I'm going to tell you how my PDIQ day started. Okay. And I showed in my other podcast, I showed the speech I did, but normally we do a sound check the night before, Friday night. We'll do a sound check. We'll go through, make sure all the lights are working, everything's working. But there was an event there and it went till 2:00 in the morning. So they didn't start making the room for us, 700 tables, chairs and all that kind of stuff until 2:00 in the morning. So I had to get up at like 4:30 and be down there by 6:30 to start doing sound checks and stuff. So, but I mean, it was that crazy. And I'm feeling sluggish and tired, of course. And I'm like, why me complaining my butt off? I walk in though, and this fellow, who I'd never met before in the sound booth says to me, he says, do you know anybody named Bryce? Do you know anybody named Bryce? And I said, I just, I do. I know a guy named Bryce. And he goes, well, someone told me to give this to Bryce. Can you get this to him? And I went, I'm Bryce. And he goes, oh, I thought I was looking for like a little kid. And I'm like, why? And he turns around and he hands me this big bag of peanut M&Ms with my name on them. And so Eileen brought those all the way from Pennsylvania to Toronto for me. And that was the first. And I'll tell you what, I went from groggy and tired and like I'm, to this, like, what? This is incredible. This is so cool. I didn't know who did it. I didn't know who was the culprit, who blessed me that morning with some sugar. But Eileen, it was so thoughtful and so wonderful. And I just really appreciated that. So thank you. So big thank you for that. That was it started my day right. And then,
what?
Yeah, bro, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, why is this the first time hearing about this?
Well, I wanted to save it. I wanted to see your reaction. And, and it was funny because I was going to take them up on stage with me and say, and thank you to the people, whoever brought me these M&Ms. But I like my M&Ms, man. I love my M&Ms and I didn't want to lose them. So I'm like, Carmen, I know. And so if I wasn't paying attention, I'm on stage and they disappear. So I'm like, Carmen, you take these to the room and you put them on the lock and key because I want these when I get home.
Put them in a safe.
Oh my God, safe. That's 100%. That's exactly where they went, and they were really well. They were taken care of later that afternoon.
Nice.
After you're done. But so it was so sweet and it was so awesome, and that was just really, really, really cool. I know Rick didn't see them either. See, he would have stole the M&Ms too. I know it, right? So I just thought that was super cool, and I also thought it was kind of cool that the AV guy thought that Bryce must be a child because the only person or the only people that would like a peanut M&M would be a child. Like, can an adult get a M&M present? I mean, I don't know. Oh, and then here's Eileen. Happy to do it. Thanks so much for the great conference. Well, Eileen, that was I just want to tell you how special that was for me. That was really cool. It was really, really cool. And then the second special thing, I was walking down to go up on stage, and this beautiful young lady came running up to me, and she said, "Oh my God, you're Bryce, you're Bryce, you're Bryce." And they drove all the way from Detroit, Michigan that morning to come and see us. And she says, "Can I get a selfie with you?" And I said, "Sure, no problem." Her husband got up, we got a selfie. And then she says, the first thing she says, "Where's Brian?" Oh my God. So and it was just so sweet. And so they, drove up to see us. So that kind of stuff, it was really neat. It was just really cool to see. And we saw a little community, and that was really fun. It just made the day so much fun. And not only was it a great day, there's like a lot of people, there's 700 people that hopefully got some good stuff out of it, but that just really made I just couldn't. I was on a high. I mean, you could have. Someone could have kicked me in the side of the head and I wouldn't have cared. It was just having a great day. But anyway,
that's awesome.
I digress. And then we wrapped it up with, like I said, hanging out with you, and we talked a little bit about it on the last podcast, but that was the fourth time I've ever seen you in my entire life, live, other than this. First time I think our wives, the second time our wives met, but the first time the four of us met, we were at meetings and we were kind of separated and all over the place. But first time we got to hang out a little bit, and so that was really cool. Your wife Lori, she's awesome, and it was just a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. So,
we really enjoyed ourselves too.
It was a great weekend, man. Now it's sort of like it was like Christmas, and now Christmas is over, and now we just got to go back to normal. But anyway, today though, we got a really, 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 really good show for you today. And and again, hopefully, what we do here is real, but it's real, but it's also messy, it's honest, and hopefully it's a little inspiring. But a great topic, Brian. We're going to talk about the stuff they don't tell you about Parkinson's until you find out the hard way.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a very good show for our friends today.
I got a kick out of the thumbnail. I was going to put you in a red Speedo today, but I just thought it was just cool. I love your face, your expression on the thumbnails, because you're like a little kid, like so excited. It's sort of like, and it just, I was looking at it last night, and I'm like, no, I'm not even going to play with this, because it was just your face expression fit it so good. It's like, what are we finding? And it was just so cool, but. If we're honest, this disease doesn't come with an instruction manual, right? No one sits you down, a diagnosis, and said, okay, here's everything you need to know for the next 20 years, right? Instead, you just find out. You usually by doing the exact wrong thing first.
Yeah, exactly. So today we're going to talk about the surprises, the stuff nobody told us about, absolutely should have. And we want you in the conversation too. We want to really get our audience to participate. So if you can, drop a comment anytime you relate to something or you've learned a lesson the hard way, because, if you've learned it the hard way, then you can share with us. We don't have to go through that hard way. We're going to follow a better path. So you never know what you share might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And, let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's do it. Well, you know what? And let's start with the basics then, Brian. Parkinson's is like a mystery box, right? Every day you open it up and you think, all right, what is today's surprise?
Exactly. I wish someone had told me how unpredictable it can be. I think I've said this to you before, Bryce. The only thing predictable about Parkinson's is it's unpredictable. One day you're walking fine. The next day you're moving like a robot who needs an oil change. And you don't know what or why the difference. You wake up and you start, I'd like to say you start fresh. You just start with a new page. It's not always fresh.
That's so true. And that's why I call this the dumb disease. Like we got the dumb one. Like we got this crazy, silly, dumb disease that doesn't know what it's doing day to day and changes every day. And that's what it makes it so crazy that it almost makes it laughable, right? Like it's like things that people wouldn't believe. Like for me, and what you said was so true. And for me, Stiffness was the big one, right? Nobody explained that. It's not just about tremors. Sometimes it's your whole body saying, nope, not today. And, you stand there and you're thinking, yeah, but I didn't even do anything yet. Like I haven't even, like, when you get stiff, like I'm going to go, hey, if I'm going to go out and I'm going to go play pickleball for the first time, and I'm going to give her, and I'm going to sweat. I expect to wake up stiff tomorrow. Like, hey, I know I worked out, or hey, I did this and I'm feeling stiff. I mean, I don't do anything. And then I wake up like, stiff as a board. And that no one really, they didn't warn me about it. I had to figure this out on my own, figure out if this is like a symptom, where this came from. And, it's annoying.
Yeah. And it's not just the physical stuff. Nobody told me how much of this would be mental, the anxiety, the frustration, the second guessing yourself. It's exhausting sometimes, isn't it? Like you spend all day talking to yourself or listening to yourself, and you got to know when to shut that off.
Brian, it's so true, right? You start wondering, is this me? Is this the meds? Is this Parkinson's doing things to me again? And half the time the answer is yes to all three. I mean, because it's just, you're right. Like you're talking yourself out of things. You're talking yourself into things. You're like, to your point. I still laugh about this so much because we were talking about Lori that time. Like you're signing up for, and your son-in-law, you're signing up for stuff that you don't want to do. Like, yes, I'll go to Sesame Street time. Yes, I'm going to go to this. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to do this. Because you're and it's like, what is happening to me? It's just bonkers.
It's crazy. The emotional swings caught me off guard, to be quite honest with you. You can be fine 1 minute and then suddenly you're tearing up watching a commercial about paper towels. Like, what is that? I don't care about spills.
That's so true. It's like, oh my God, can you imagine? She spilled all that tomato sauce on the floor. How's she gonna get it off? Oh, it's like, lucky her, she got it off. It's like, oh, thank God. I was feel so bad for her. And hearing the comments, Dolores, like the feeling of apathy surprised me, and I can relate to that, Brian. I don't know, that's a big one, right? Like that's like, what?
Yeah.
Why can't I get off the couch? Like, why do I not want to do anything? Why am I not motivated?
Why am I starting that pile of laundry? Right. You take your to-do list, you turn it upside down so you can't understand it, and you don't do anything with it. Crazy.
You don't do a damn thing. You don't do it, and then you feel this kind of like, I guess, well, I want to do it anyway. It's just it's so surprising. There's got to be more. There's got to be more when we first get diagnosed. So that's why we do things like this. Just try to break it down real and be honest with you. Like we're, and Deborah, another D, Deborah and Dolores, like apathy, me too, and I think, and Diana, like I think I'm experiencing apathy. Of course you are. Of course you are, Diane. You know what? It's just one of those things. And with apathy, here's the thing with apathy, it stinks. You have no motivation. Think about this. You're trying to motivate yourself out of being motivated, right? So it's for me, I always said, like, I was the glasses half full guy. I was always that guy, always, looking at the better side, the bigger side. But I had a bone dry glass. Like I was a motivational speaker that couldn't motivate myself to get up, right? To go out. Wow. And it's so rough because it's like you've allowed, but see, I talked about this in that opening speech, is that when I was going through my apathy of like, and don't get me wrong, there's days I have apathy still. Like, you have a call-in day some days. It's like, I just don't feel like doing anything. And that's okay. Some days just take a breather and take it easy. But if it's becoming repetitive or you're doing it often or for long periods of time, it really comes down to, you just have to, and I know this is really, really hard, and I'm going to say something that it's like, I'm not saying it's easy, okay, when I say this, but you just have to talk yourself off the couch. You have to force yourself to do it, no matter how ugly, awful that you feel. It's like, no, I'm going to go outside. No, I'm going to walk around the block. No, I'm going to go to that event. I'm going to do it. And you push, and you have to think of you can't think of the moment. You have to think of the after effect. If I do this is how I'm going to feel, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't do this is how I'm going to feel. And you just have to keep pushing towards that, regardless of, and it's hard. And I'm not saying it's easy, it's hard, but that's also, Brian, where you need someone like you need an accountability partner, or you need to, a support group, or you need a peer support, or you need to be in the inner 100%. Circle where you just say, okay, I can't get off the couch, and you need your people to come around you, go, let's go, you can do it, and be accountable. And you know what, you're getting off the couch, and you're going to call me in 3 minutes, and we're going to make sure you go off the couch. And that's the type of stuff that we need, right?
Yeah. You need people around. That's bang on. But the people that you do have around you, or you invite to have around you, especially during those moments and times, it's important that they understand the ups and downs of what you're going through. You know, we don't judge you for having both good and bad days. You're going to have both. We need to show up for all of them, and we need to show up differently depending on what's going on. I remember you said it wasn't last week, because that's when we did the couch chat, so it was 2 weeks ago probably. You said something along the lines of, even if it's just 5 bloody minutes, go out for a walk. And I went, damn, that's good. So I went out this week, and as you know, we moved and I'm on a 3-acre property. So I wondered how far the circumference of my property was. So I just circled my property, and I found out that it's a 6-minute walk. And if I do it 5 times, I've done my 30-minute walk and walked my 2K. The good news is, if I just walk the perimeter of my property, I'm not going to have to worry about this black bear people keep telling me about that they saw down the end of my street, because I walk alone. So if I walk with you and there's a bear issue, I'm okay with that. I just got to outrun you. No, if I'm by myself, I got to outrun the bear. And that ain't gonna happen.
You'll never outrun me in a bear, because I'm telling I'm telling you what, there is one thing that'll kick me into high gear, and I return I become like a sprinter, old school sprinter, and I will go. I like survival, man. I'm all about survival. So, but no, you're so right, and that's what I said. I think we overwhelm ourselves, right? It's like, I know I need to exercise. I know it, and you're thinking about, okay, I got to do like 75 laps. I got to do 59 push-ups, and you know what? Do one push-up. Hey, get off the couch and walk to the kitchen and back once. Get out. Like we have a community mailbox. Our mail doesn't come to the house, and it's about 2 blocks down the road. And I can't tell you, embarrassingly enough, as I say this, how many times I've gone to the garage, got in my car, and drove.
Oh my God,
to pick up the mail. Yeah, I did. I've done it before. I've cashed it in. I'm like, just take the car. And I make excuses, right? Because we all have excuses. Like, there'll be so much mail. I'm expecting a parcel. I can't carry it all. It's, there's puddles outside, whatever it might be. But that, if I force myself to walk to get that mail, even those 2 blocks, even a block, Brian, it does. And how did you feel? For example, when you pushed yourself to do that, how did you feel?
Like doing another lap. I really did. Going. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Before we moved, I lived at the end of a court. I was the second house from the end, and we had a super mailbox right in front of our house that serviced so many homes around there. The people they're on their way home from work, which is fine, and you're already in your car, but you are 2 houses from the mailbox. Go park in the driveway, and you know what? They also rob the opportunity for people like myself and those around me to have a neighborly chat.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. And you know what? And they're social. So what do you just do? So now you got a little bit of fresh air, right? You got a little bit of exercise. You've got released some dopamine. You've also socialized, right? You've done these things. So you're pushing yourself to all these different limits. And and I've said before, and I'll say it again, that science has shown that when you push yourself outside your comfort levels, it releases dopamine. It actually releases things in you, which is what we need, which is really cool. So, again, it's just that push, and that's one thing that we have to do. Look, I want to bring this up. What Rick said. Rick said, oh, sorry, that's not what I was going to show. Okay, Bryce, your speech last week, you hit the nail on the head. The apathy and the second guessing going out to an event struck a nerve with so many people. And then, you know what? It was funny because it came to me last night. I'm like, how many people are here today or came to this event that didn't want to come, that tried to talk themselves out of it. And I just, again, it's relating. Right? Yeah. It's relating to that. How many people were like, oh God, I don't want to go. Like, you want to go, but you don't want to go. Right. Cause you just don't want to, it's a long day. What if my meds, I got to time this and I got to do this. And you can talk yourself out of it. And honestly, I believe that's part of that apathy. You're making so many excuses to do it. Right. And that they said, I'm going to tell you something right now. There was a study years ago. I'm not sure what university it was. It was somewhere in the United States. It was, but there was a study done, and they brought in when people were just starting university for the first year. So there was usually a 3 or 4 years a university course. So they brought all the students that came in, and they did a study on them, and they asked them a bunch of questions. They asked them about all their fears, like what are you fearful coming to school for? And these are kids are going to university for the very first time, right? And there was things like, well, I'm fearful I'm going to run out of money and not going to be able to pay for my degree. I'm fearful I'm not going to get good grades. I'm fearful this is going to happen. I'm fearful that's that's going to happen. And they listed all these fears. So think about this. All the fears that they could even muster or think about for 4 years. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there at your early 20s or late teens, right? And they listed them all out there. And 4 years ago, right? Or sorry, 4 years go by. And some graduated, some didn't, whatever it might be. They retook the test or the study. They did the study again. They asked them the same. Okay, they said, okay, so, in the last 4 years, did you experience this? Did this happen to you? And they were reading back the things that they were fearful of. And you know that 96% of the things that they were fearful of didn't happen.
Wow,
to a
that's
T.
huge.
96%. And I've heard that. I heard that about probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I've never forgot it. So every time I start thinking about like, okay, but what if my meds run out? What if I forget? What if I do this? What if this happens? I think to myself, there's only 4 of those things out of 100 that are going to happen. And I think I can handle them. Like there's a possibility that
Exactly.
most of them aren't going to happen. So we worry about all these things that a lot of them just don't materialize. So, that's where you just could kick those excuses. So think about that. Next time you want to go out there and you're like, this might happen, that might rain. And then you know what I call myself sometimes? I don't know if you ever used to watch, do you ever used to watch Winnie the Pooh?
Oh yeah.
Winnie the Pooh? So the author of Winnie the Pooh is from Winnipeg. That's why it's called Winnie. It's actually Winnipeg.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? Oh yeah, no. They Christopher Robin and all that. There's a house not that very far from where I grew up, and that was the house that they lived in, and so that's where Christopher Robin played in the back. It was anyway, long story. But Winnie the Pooh. So Winnie the Pooh. There's a character in Winnie the Pooh called Eeyore. Eeyore.
Oh bother.
Why bother? Right? Everything is. Why don't you do this, Eeyore? Why bother? How about this, Eeyore? Why bother? It's gonna rain. It's gonna rain. So I give you permission, Brian, that when you hear me or see me, or if I react in a way to say, hey, and you call me, hey, just say, hey, Eeyore. Or, hey, are you being an Eeyore? Right? Are you being an Eeyore? And that's the trigger for me to say, oh my God, I'm doing it. Right. So that's what I do. So if I ever call you an Eeyore, anybody around, if I call you an Eeyore, it's not a good thing. It's just, it's a good thing, but it's just to remind you that to move on. But I wanted to show, there's 2 things I want to show. This one here. So here's Diana. Diana said this Wednesday, it'll be officially 1 year since I was diagnosed with Parkinson's by my neurologist. Happy birthday, Diana. I guess Wednesday. I started having some symptoms about 3 years before that, and I got worse a few months before that. Yes, it's very typical, Diana, and that's. But it's your Parkinson's birthday again. Welcome to the club that no one wanted to join, but since we're here, Diana, we might as well enjoy it and do the best we can.
Exactly.
But so happy Parkinson's birthday. And this is the other one I wanted to read here. This is the one I wanted to first click on Rick. But he said, Rick says, depression is often not mentioned. For November, men's mental health depression. From November is men's mental health month, right? Depression affects around 6 to 9% of the population. For Parkinson's, look at this.
Wow.
It's 30 to 50%. It can be one of the first symptoms of and that's the true story. And that's the other one I wanted to bring out is that when you're sitting there and you can't get off the couch or you don't want to do something and you have to remember that we're all like that, right? We're all like that. And if Brian and I were super honest with ourselves, even, because I bet you, I don't know if I've ever thought about this, but I bet you there's days even on a Sunday where we kind of got up and said, wow, I don't feel like doing this today. Why did I sign up for this? Why did I do this? Because it's like, it just hits you. It's a mental thing. It's not something you believe. It's not something that, it's not who you are. That's the difference, right? It's you're not lazy. You're not just, it's not who you are. So, but you this apathy and depression, it tries to talk you out of doing things. So another thing, I know we're stuck on this one for a bit, but I think it's really important, Brian. And I think the other thing is, if I find that I'm trying to talk myself out of doing something, like really talk myself out of doing something, then I know something must be good happening because I'm really trying to talk myself out. Like you know what I mean? Like if it's no big deal, go. But if I always feel like we're trying to talk ourselves out of this goodness that's on the other side, and that's what we're missing. So, and
apathy's a good salesman. You got to watch out for him.
Oh, right. You got to be that no soliciting sign. You got to put that no soliciting sign on, like do not call, do not knock on the door. This house doesn't. I saw a sign on the door the other day, and it said no soliciting. not that I don't want to talk to you. It's just that you cannot solicit here because my wife buys everything no matter what. So stay away. I thought that was pretty good. Now Eileen says, hey, are you on anti-anxiety meds? Brian, are you on any anti-anxiety meds?
I have a prescription that I fulfilled. I've probably taken 3 or 4 of those pills over a 2-3 year period. So I have access to it if I need it.
If you need it.
I don't need it very often.
I was
I'm not saying I don't have situations. I don't have situations that would honor the or take a med to get me out of it. Thank God.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I when I was diagnosed, so about a year into it, I took I was on a drug called citraplam. Plum. Can't say it right. Anyway, whatever it is, and it was an anti-depression drug or an anti. I was on that for about 4 years, I think, in the beginning. I think it was about 4 years. I took one pill every morning, kind of thing. So yeah, I was on it. I was on it as well. And I think, you know what? That's the other thing too. I mean, it's not uncommon for people to have either at their like Brian said, when he needs them or not. And they also have other ones that you can just put on your tongue really quick and they dissolve. Like if you're feeling a panic attack coming on, it's almost like a little dissolving, and you put it under your tongue and it'll dissolve and it'll help you relax. And there's no stigma to taking an antidepressant drug or an anti-anxiety drug. There's no stigma there at all. If you need help, get help. Like, you know, and then, but I think the cool thing is not, don't just rely on it, like get the help, but you got to work that mindset and kind of working yourself and getting to some positive, I don't know, some positive habits, I guess, you know, to get there. And what I did, Brian, is I used that anti-depression drug, if that's what you want to call it. I used it until I could handle it and I could do it on my own. You know what I mean? And then you know, and then with my doctor, we weaned it off and it was good. But I had no problem. If I weaned it off and I was all of a sudden feeling like I couldn't, you know, I needed it, I would have went back on it. If it's going to help, it's going to help. Right.
Yeah. I had mine prescribed when I was first having challenges with travel. So that got me anxious and really beat out of shape. So that's primarily when I was taking it. And once I started flying again after COVID, that's really when I needed it. So.
Yeah, and like I said, and again, there's no shame in it, right? Like it's
not at all.
No big deal. It's no big deal. And I think that's what, you know, what no one tells you. Now we'll go back to this part here, but I think that I think that what nobody tells you is that Parkinson's, again, it doesn't just affect your movement, right? Yes. And it affects yourself, your sense of self. It challenges your confidence. You know, you start to question things that used to be second nature, like driving, working, and even socializing, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and that's why community is so important. That's why this is so important. We get to come out here and, you know, just yak and talk. And, you know, you need people around, kind of what you said earlier, Brian. You need those people around you that they understand, they get you, they know, and they know the ups and downs, right? They know it. They just know it. And you can sense it. I said to you, I mean, the other day, I didn't realize that Lori wasn't feeling well, but we started the podcast and I'm looking at you and I'm like, there's something wrong with it. What's he not telling me? What's going on here? So I'm like, I'm going to challenge this guy after, like, you know, because my head's going like, hey, what are you struggling with? What are you, and I want to, you know, if you care about somebody and you you know, you want them, you gotta intrude sometimes. Are you doing okay? What's up? You know, you're all right. And we need to be able to do that. And we need those people in our lives. And you also, like you said, Brian, you've been stellar here this morning, man. You just like knocking them up, but you need to give them permission you need people to give them permission to do that to you. Like, like I said, hey, Brian, call me a donkey. If I start Eeyoring, you call me, like, I'm giving you permission to stop me in my tracks.
Can I call you a jackass instead?
You know, it's so funny you said that, because I was almost going to make a joke. I was going to say, at least it's not. And then I'm like, nah, he's going to say it. I know he's going to say it.
Oh, no, I'm becoming predictable.
No, it was just such a setup. It was like so perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, he's gonna come there with this jackass thing, and then, but no, you cannot call me a jackass.
Okay, then I won't.
Hey, if you call me a jackass, I'm gonna call you Winnie the Pooh, but I'm not going to call you Pooh. And
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is going to get ugly fast.
Oh my gosh. What's Iris? Iris is like, I had Parkinson's for 11 years and it took 7 neurologists. 7. Oh my God. The first few I had to drop. I had drop foot and then carpal tunnel and then back Jay telling me what was going on here. You know what, Iris? I had the same thing. The first one told me I was nuts. I was too young to have Parkinson's, and Michael J. Fox was an anomaly. So been there, done that. And I think there's a lot. It's welcome to that club too. I like this one here too as well. Dolores and Eeyore often saves the day. Yeah, so you know what? Kids go, and then Rick's a ha 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 ha. And then Iris is, oops, there goes my tremor hand. I love that because it's like we understand it. I know it's like I could, the texting, the talking, everything else, and we all get it. And that's why it's such a great space. Who cares, right? Like Iris, you can be yourself, and it doesn't. You notice we're reading the comments. It's not like, oh, I wonder what happened there. There's a J in there. Blah blah blah. It's like, no, I know exactly what happened there because it happens to me all the time. Like I read back my text, Brian. I'll send you texts, and I read them back after, and I'm like, how the hell? Like, I don't even understand it. So I don't know how you even respond to it because I don't even get what I'm saying, that type of thing, because that's just it's all over the place.
I was pretty good at Pig Latin as a kid. Keeping with the animal theme.
Oh my God, that is so great. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh Lord. Anyway, that's so funny. All right.
Where are we?
I have no clue where we are, Brian. I don't know where we're going, what time. Man, it's been good. But how about we do this? Let's dive into some of the lessons that we've learned the hard way. Can we do that? Do you want to do that part?
Absolutely.
It's kind of like that second segment I think we were going to talk about. If so I'll bet. Why don't I share one and you can share one? How about that?
First. Yeah, I'll go after you.
All right. So here's one thing. The one lesson. This is a lesson number 1 for me.
Okay.
Consistency is king.
Love it.
Consistency is king. So if you got Parkinson's, your body loves routine, right?
Yes.
It doesn't like surprises. So when I started paying more attention to when I take my meds, when I eat, and I say this all the time, but repetition, man, you're gonna get this right. When I eat, when I rest, things get smoother. The more I keep my body on routine, the better I do. That's the bottom line.
That's a great one. I've got routines that I go through every day, every night, and then Lori just shakes her head at some of them. But for me, the big lesson was learning that rest isn't optional. There's a difference between being tired and being depleted or being wiped out. If you've pushed through depletion, your body will pull the plug. It's noticed lately. If I don't rest, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be anything that physical, which is kind of scary. But if I don't get a little bit of rest in there, I don't have the staying power.
Oh no, I agree. I've done this so many times, right?
Yeah.
I think we think resting means being lazy. Like that's the problem. But it's actually one of the smartest strategies that you can have, right? And so and it's so funny. I need to practice what I preach because I mean I think about this all the time. Like I build and recover. And before we came on the air, I'll be totally vulnerable. Brian's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like, "I am so flipping tired, like I can't believe it." But I'm not. And I know I haven't built in the rest time that I needed. So again, when I talk about that consistency, normally if I travel, I'm really tired. It really knocks me out.
For sure.
It's not just jet lag or whatever it is. It's really lag. But what I've done is I've taken that. So if I'm working, I take the next day off, or I have a down day, then I just need to recuperate and rest. But I've been like on the go so hard right now that I'm not taking that time for me, that recovery time. I haven't put it into my day like when I need it. And and you need it because by the time you feel wiped out, it's too late.
Yeah, it's true. That's gold. It was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. My son-in-law and I were out, and my grandson, we were out dropping a tree. We needed some firewood for our outdoor fire pit. So he dropped the tree, and that's when I came out. And then the cleanup is the worst. So Landon and my son-in-law Ryan were chopping the wood into logs, 12, 16 inches to size it up. And they kept driving that over and stacking it up where the splitter was. And I started cleaning up all the branches. And it's just, there's stuff everywhere. And I just went at it. And
Of course you did.
And then Lori, I came in, I was depleted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Lori was like, "What were you thinking? You got to take a break. You need to rest." So she got it. She understands it. She's trying to educate
And
me.
you're gonna understand it too, buddy. Because you're gonna get right. Because
Totally.
that's what do they call that? That tough love. That's that tough love. Like you know what?
It is.
You better
But-
believe it. I'm gonna believe it.
So
Look,
that's Brian learning the hard way. That's what I do. I typically learn the hard way. And I've always been a proponent of listen to your body, and before the whispers become shouts. And, I did that behavior when I had my heart surgery, but if something feels off or stiffness or anxiety or trouble sleeping, don't ignore it. Even the smallest change can make a difference to that day-to-day issue. Where you can turn it into a better habit for sure.
so true. Brian, we got to be proactive, not reactive. Because when it's reactive,
Exactly.
we're late, right? I
Yeah.
don't wait till I go off to think, oh, I'm off now. So what should I do? Well, maybe I should, no, I want to say, hey,
Yeah.
I know it's coming. This is how I'm going to prepare and how I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I like to, here, is it Aisha? Aisha says the exhaustion is real. Although sometimes a nap works like a pill. A nap is great,
Yeah.
right? Schedule
Yeah.
in. If you're like Brian, you can nap every 5 minutes and be up and gone. Me, if I fall asleep, I'm done. But that's what it is. I love this. Ready for this one? Watch this one, Brian. I've heard of a place called Consistency. I've never been there, but I hear it's nice. Randy, that's so funny, right? I just thought that was hilarious.
Well, that just ties into how you kick this whole segment
I've
off.
heard of this place of consistency. I've never been there, but I heard it's nice. Oh my gosh, that is so awesome. And back to your, the smallest change make the biggest difference. That is so true, right? Because here's something else nobody told me either, Brian. The importance of adapting instead of resisting. Think about that. You can fight Parkinson's all you want, but at some point you realize it's better to partner with it. What do I mean by that, right? You learn how to work around your symptoms, right? Instead of them letting define you, you work with them and around them.
And then you end up laughing at them and you win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, hey there, partner, we're gonna do this. But and it's hard to get used to, right? To adapting and changing it up a little bit. It's like I thought the other day. So here's what I thought. My tremor in my right hand is getting a little bit, or between the tremor and the dyskinesia, right? Whichever one you want to call it at any time. It's starting to move all the time now. Like it's hard to not stop it from moving. And I thought, it's getting harder to brush my hair. And I kind of like my hair. Like I kind of like combing I kind of like take a little bit of pride in my do, and it's just something I like to do. And so I thought, maybe I should start trying to practice combing with my left hand, because my left hand's a bit better. Like it's still, it's there, but I can still control it. And so it's sort of like, okay, cool. So I did. I started kind of doing a little bit of my left. I'm like, hey, I can do it. I can comb this a little bit. It's not bad. I can get a. So I'm kind of adapting and doing, but I'm also being a little bit proactive rather than reactive. So I get to a point where I can't do it. Just trying to watch what my body's, like you said, listen to where my body's whispering, where am I heading, and try to build stuff in that I can do, and that's what I do. And Diana's like, I never used to be a napper, but now I find even a 10-minute cat nap helps.
They're the best.
Yeah. See, you guys love those. I hate them.
Good old chair nap.
Chair nap. I
love it.
I was so tired. I was on the plane. I flew back from Toronto on Monday, Brian.
Yeah.
And I had to fly back there again Thursday. So I flew back Thursday.
Oh my gosh. You're home 2 days and flew out again.
Okay, can I tell you a story? I'm going to tell you a story. I'm just going to interrupt this whole program, and I'm going to tell you a story you'll never believe.
We're going down a rabbit hole. Let's go.
We are going down a big hole because you'll never believe this. And I don't know whether to laugh about it yet. I think I'm going to laugh about it. Okay, but this is what happened. So I flew back to Toronto on Thursday, got in about 9 o'clock at night, super tired. Oh my God, I'm exhausted. Another plane, airplanes, blah, 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 blah. So I get to the hotel. I'm talking to Carmen. We're just kind of talking. She was, what are you going to do? I'm going to watch a bit of the baseball. No, the baseball game was the next night, but I was watching the hockey game or something. And I can't remember what I was doing. But anyway, we said goodnight. And I laid there and stared at the ceiling. Must have been 3 a.m. last time I remember looking over at the clock, right? Probably 3 a.m. And I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe I should just order a coffee, because I have to be up by 5:30 to get ready for one of these meetings I have to go to. So maybe I can't sleep for another hour. Okay. So you're starting to see where I'm going to head with this. I'm thinking maybe I'll just order a coffee. But then all of a sudden, I guess what happened was, I'll tell you the end of the story first. I guess I fell asleep. Okay. Now I had my ringer on full blast. I had a wake up alarm on the phone. I had my alarm set in the room, and Carmen was going to call me at 5:30. I'll call you. We'll talk. Make sure you're awake. Got your meds okay, and get going. I'm like, no problem. Brian, I woke up to one man holding my ankles and another man shaking my shoulders in a hotel room in Toronto, and I lost it. I'm like, I didn't know I had no idea what was going on. All I know, though, I looked up, there was sunshine coming through my window.
Oh,
And through a phone, I could hear Carmen saying, Bryce, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's
wow.
okay. It's okay. For an hour and a half, they were trying to phone me. My alarms are going off. My phone was going off.
Wow.
This was going off. They were knocking at my door. They knocked at my door. Finally, they had to break in because they thought something had happened to me. Then, I guess with my wife on the phone, they're saying they said to her, he's not waking up. Which, from 2,000 miles away, you're like, pardon me?
Yeah, no kidding.
He's not waking up. Then she says, then either call 911 or you start shaking him right now, or you slap him or do something. So they said, do we have your permission to shake him? And she said, well, why are you not shaking him? Like, wake him up now.
His Parkinson's. He needs to shake.
Yeah. And so I guess the one guy was shaking my ankles. The other guy's
Okay.
shaking my chest. And I guess I
Wow.
finally woke up. Like I
That's
had no
crazy.
idea where I was or what happened. It was awful. It was scary.
Wow.
Carmen was just distraught. She thought, it was just awful. It was just a bad, it was terrible. And I'm like, oh, what the
Wow.
happened to me? What just happened? And I realized I'm just so exhausted. I could not have been woken up. How about that?
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I can't imagine being woken up by two strangers shaking my body. Like, I thought you were having a dream or something is what you're going to tell me. But this was
Holy
real.
God. I thought I was in prison, Brian. I thought I was getting the flip. I didn't know what was going on, but it was not good. It was not good. And I honestly, I had no clue. Like I yelled. I'm like, and I almost
no
went into like a
kidding.
ninja.
Well,
Like,
exactly. Those guys are lucky you didn't attack them.
like, can you
Like,
imagine?
in my dreams, I'm attacking people when they do that
Yeah.
stuff to
And
me.
why two of them? Like how? Like why two? Like it's like and they got like, but it was it was wild. And then to think about this, now I can barely move. Like I yelled, right? But
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on in here? What's happening? And I'm trying to talk, and I'm like, whatever. But holy mackerel, that was an experience. So that, to me, that's all the alarms going off saying, Bryce, you have not been doing it right, right? And and Iris said that must have been scary for Carmen, and yeah,
Totally.
it was tough, man. And so, yeah, it's wild. It was just a bad time overall. And Carmen normally travels with me almost exclusive, like all the time, but she didn't. I was in one night. We just got back, so I'm like, I'll just go. And so yeah, it was really scary. It was like a really bad day yesterday. So
No kidding.
I flew home, got home Friday night at about 11 o'clock after I worked all day. And so yeah,
Wow.
I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted, and I'm realizing that I am not taking care of myself the way I should. And then I feel guilty, right? Because I'm behind in the comments. I'm behind in things because I've been
Yeah.
so busy. And then and my mind's like, oh my God, I need to get back to everybody. I need to do this and I need to do that. And so, but I realized I just need to take a day. I need to take a day or two and just kind of, okay, I got to stop. I got to slow down. So forgive me if I'm behind in the comments. I will get back there. I promise. And, in the inner circle too. I mean, it's just like I'm trying to catch up. But I'm going to take a couple. I can't catch up if I don't catch up myself. So I'm going to take a few days to
Exactly.
chill, get my steam back, and then pace myself again. But anyway, that's just it was a crazy, crazy day. It was
No
wild.
kidding. Wow.
Wild. Oh man. So anyway, there was my rabbit hole, Brian. So I don't know if you want to dig yourself out of that or dig us out of that, because I have no idea. But that's what it was, right?
Yeah,
So,
totally. Like it's a mindset shift that we go through with all of this.
Yes, true.
Instead of saying I can't, start asking how can I. It's like when my grandson and granddaughter get home from school, I don't go, how was your day? Because they'll go fine and the conversation's over. I like to ask them, what did you learn today that you didn't know yesterday? Or what did you do at recess? Did you play somebody new? Or what did
So
you
true.
learn today? I like using that one on Landon because he'll show me a math problem and what the answer is, and I'll just go, I believe you. I don't know what the answer is.
And you know, that's so funny because I do that all the time. I know people don't know. So, you know, when someone says that, well, you know, it's like if you took like 8,000 laps around a pool, you went one lap backwards on 1 foot. How many laps did you actually do? I go, oh, 372. Just like that, right? And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah. Well, you just if you multiply the like I go through the speak, they're like, wow, okay, and then they just walk away. Like it's like I'm not even to bother. I think that's awesome. But
yeah. So for me, I had to change how I exercise because I used to play tennis 2-3 times a week.
wow.
You know, I was doing marathon walks of 10K, 50K, whatever it might be. But now I'm down to what can I do in the next 10, 15 minutes? Can I do a couple of laps of the property type thing? So, you know, it's I'm getting there. And next year we'll get the driveway paved and I will get the pickleball set in more of a permanent position.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I gotta get back in shape.
Well, you know what I pictured when you were playing tennis 3 times a week in the 80s and 90s. Did you have the Andre Agassi hair? Did you?
I never had it quite that long. No, that he was a stud. Absolutely. I wish I had his hair, but he wishes it. He's bald now.
Oh, Brian, Iris said, can you repeat that, please? My grandchildren came from school and I asked how school was at the end of the SS.
Yeah. So I don't ask them how was their day. I ask them, what did you learn today that you didn't know yesterday? Did you play with somebody new at recess today? With Landon, he's gone from soccer to basketball. So I ask him questions around topics that they're keenly interested in. So I just make up open-ended questions for them to get them just to tell a little bit more than their day was fine.
Yeah. So mine would be like, what are you doing? Just chilling. Okay. What is that? Like, just chilling, Dad. Right. So yeah, it's those open-ended questions. You make them answer, right?
Absolutely.
And here's here's your buddy. Here's look at this. Look at this. It's Harry. I'm in shape. A circle's a shape, isn't it? Harry, he's so funny.
I love it. And yes, you are.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I love it. But you know, going back to your getting that moving, that what you're trying to find, even those 10 minutes, like we have to remember that movement is medicine, right? Movement is medicine. And I almost want to change that. You know, they say exercise is good. Exercise is good for you got to exercise. Mine is like you got to move. Just start moving.
Yeah.
Just start moving, right? But you have to be manageable, right? If you overdo it, your body's going to remind you. And if you underdo it, Parkinson reminds you. So you have to find a sweet spot, sweet spot somewhere between, you know, somewhere. My brain. It's like you have that sweet spot is somewhere in between, and you have to find it by experimenting, right? Oh, I did a little too much today. Oh, I did a little too less today. You know, and so you just find a nice spot for you. It's for you, right? It's personal.
Exactly. And the other thing I wish someone had told me is your relationships will change, not necessarily for the worse, but differently. Some people pull back because they don't know how to handle it, but others, the ones who stay, they become your anchor. And you and I've said this about Carmen and Lori all along. They are definitely our rock, our anchor. Totally lean on and depend on them day in and day out. Yeah.
You know, people, and some, if you're new to the channel and you haven't watched all the programs or listened to all the programs, you know, I'm kind of technically still a newlywed. I haven't even been, Carmen and I just got married like a year ago. We met later in life. And so, you know, I love that, Brian, what you said, because Carmen she always says to me, you find your people through your pain.
Oh, I like that.
You know, and you find your people through your pain. And she's right? Because Parkinson's has brought incredible people into my life who I never would have met. Never would have met.
Look at the two of us. Case in point. Right?
Yeah.
If we didn't have Parkinson's, you and I wouldn't have met. And like we met and we're finishing each other's sentences 5 minutes later. Like it was crazy.
It's nuts. Like people are even saying, like, I can't believe you guys, didn't go to school together when you were younger. It's just,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it is, and that's what the community is for. When you break it all down, we've got the Lories and the Carmens, but you need your community too. So, don't just watch, comment, connect, reach out. Remember your story. Stories are, people learn from stories, right?
Oh my God.
Storytellers are the best speakers, right? Don't get up
So true.
and pie chart me. Get up and Bryce and Brian me, right? Or insert name
Exactly.
here, right? When
Tell
it's
us the
personal.
story.
When I shared my story about wanting to walk my 3 daughters down the aisle on their wedding day as my motivation for recovering from heart disease, like I told that story for 8 years and there was never a dry eye in the house, right? And because you can put the pie chart up, but have a Brian or a Bryce or someone like that to come in and share their stories, because
Oh my God. Yes.
they're meaningful, they're heartfelt, they're relatable. It brings it all together. It just ties it all together in a bow.
And that's so quiet because whether it's not like the last 3 months, 3 months in a row on our YouTube channel, we've had over 120 each month, like over hundreds of thousands of views.
Wow.
Hundreds of thousands, right? Hundreds of thousands. And so many people are they're reading the comments, and they're hearing stories. It's not just about Bryce, it's not just about Brian. Everybody's got a story, and everybody's story relates to somebody differently. So as you and as you're putting things in the comments, and you're telling your story in the comments. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. Like, you're doing it to maybe seek help, or you're doing it to try to get some clarity, but you're actually, somebody out there's reading it and saying, "Oh my God, I'm not alone. Me too. I'm not alone. Me too." And it does so much. So, that's why, so leave those comments, tell your story in the comments, and tell,
Yeah.
what you want to publicly, and it helps people. And while you're there, if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you don't miss any episodes, because we got some really amazing things coming up as we go ahead, Brian, and go through this. But I'm going to shake it up a little bit here.
Here we go.
I think we should flip the segments, if you're good to go with your segment first, if that works for you.
You want me to do the news?
If you could.
I can.
Step right up, the latest news. Parkinson's breakthroughs now in view. Expertly Parkinson's news for you. Research updates, gene therapy hoping only at Expertly Parkinson's News. Now get ready, here he is, Brian Campkin. Tune in now. Progress in our site, Expertly Parkinson's News. Right.
I love it.
That never gets old for me. I love it. I love it. All right. So today I'm going to touch on 3 things. The first thing I'm going to touch on is it tastes lousy, but it may work. Can cough syrup be used as a treatment for Parkinson's? Second thing is who's in favor? Raise your hands and say aye. Can we leverage eyeball tracking for diagnostics and monitoring? Stay tuned. And lastly, you need to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Is a fold over our next biomarker discovery? So let me start off with Ambroxol. It's a drug commonly used in cough medicines in Europe. It is now being investigated as a potential treatment for Parkinson's. Unlike existing therapies that only manage symptoms, Ambroxol is one of the few candidates in late-stage clinical trials that could help slow or change the course of the condition. Early findings are encouraging and mark an important shift in Parkinson's research. So what is Ambroxol? It's a word that's hard to say for Brian, I can tell you that. It's also widely used in Europe to thin mucus in the respiratory system, but it is not approved in Canada or the US at this time. Researchers became interested in the drug after finding evidence that it may enhance the function of the GCase, which is an enzyme that helps clear harmful substances from brain cells. Low levels of GCase are potentially linked to Parkinson's. So why Ambroxol is being studied for Parkinson's? Well, there's problems with GCase can lead to the buildup of harmful proteins like alpha-synuclein, which damage dopamine-producing neurons. By improving GCase activity, Ambroxol may be able to reduce or stop this buildup and protect brain cells. So there's clinical trials taking place right now, Ambroxol is currently being studied in both phase 2 and phase 3 trials. The phase 2 study is being done actually in Ontario and the UK, and has shown that Ambroxol is safe and can affect GCase activity in the brain. A phase 3 trial in the UK is underway to test whether Ambroxol can slow or stop the progression of Parkinson's. A phase 2 study in Ontario completed in June of 2025, so just this past June, found Ambroxol was safe, improved GCase function, and showed possible benefits for psychiatric and cognitive symptoms. There are currently 4 disease-modifying therapies in phase 3 trials for Parkinson's. Ambroxol and lactobacillus acid ophilus are existing drugs being repurposed, while prasinezumab and bemdane procel were specifically developed for Parkinson's. I don't have deeper meanings on those words.
Can you please repeat those words, please, Brian?
No.
I know.
There'll be more to come on that as I dig deeper into this opportunity. But Ambroxol supports the function of an enzyme in the brain called glucocerebrosidase, which is what GCase is. So I'll use GCase going forward. This enzyme helps cells clear out waste and keep themselves healthy. When GCase levels are too low, harmful proteins such as alpha-synuclein can start to build up. And over time, these proteins clump together into structures called Lewy bodies, which are toxic to brain cells. These clumps especially damage dopamine-producing neurons, the very cells that are lost in Parkinson's. And this drives the progression of symptoms. So why target GCase and alpha-synuclein? By increasing GCase activity, Ambroxol may help the brain clear out more of this waste and reduce the buildup of harmful protein clumps. Protecting dopamine-producing neurons in this way could slow the loss of these vital cells and change the course of Parkinson's rather than only treating symptoms. Early studies have shown that Ambroxol can cross into the brain and boost GCase activity, which makes it one of the more promising disease-modifying candidates being investigated today. So the future outlook: phase 3 trials take time, and results from the UK study are expected in the coming years. As of April 1st, 2025, the first participant was dosed in the UK trial. By June 30th, 2025, the Ontario phase 2 trial concluded, confirming Ambroxol's safety and showing it boosted GCase activity with early potential signs of symptom benefit. So Ambroxol may be especially effective for people with GBA1 gene mutations, the most common genetic risk factor for Parkinson's. However, researchers are also studying its effect in people without genetic links. Even if Ambroxol does not ultimately prove to be disease-modifying, its trials will still provide valuable data on Parkinson's biology and inform the design of future therapies. That was a mouthful.
Oh my God.
So what's new and exciting? The mixed reality eye tracking for diagnostics and monitoring. So what they're doing, the study has described the use of mixed reality glasses and eye tracking systems to non-intrusively assess eye movement and patterns, which can be early indicators of neurodegeneration. The idea is that changes in eye gaze may show up before classic motor signs. Because this is non-invasive and potentially usable in home settings, it's an intriguing direction, more to follow. So that is not even at its infancy stages. And then last, researchers have discovered a biomarker in body fluids, which is cerebrospinal fluid, based on misfolded synuclein technology. And they're using a technology called IRS, which is immuno-infrared sensor. They achieve sensitivity and specifically well over 90% in distinguishing Parkinson's in early stages. This kind of advance is powerful because one big barrier in Parkinson's disease is late diagnosis. Disease has already progressed by the time symptoms become obvious, So a fluid biomarker may allow earlier detection, monitoring disease progression, and assessing therapy efficacy. Sounds promising. So there you have it, Bryce. Another What's New with Parkinson's. And I turn it back to you.
Holy mackerel, man.
Yeah,
You were taking the researchers on that one. That was awesome. That was big. Let me ask you one question though, and I wanted to make sure I understood this. When you were talking about the gaze, you said did you say that did it say that they lose their gaze, or you start losing your gaze, or what? Is it in there, or maybe you could double check on that for me if you don't mind? I was just curious. I always kind of liked my gaze. Like
it's assessing eye movement. So it's assessing eye movement patterns, which can clearly be early indicators for neurodegenerative diseases. The idea is that changes in eye gaze may show up before classic motor signs. Now, there's a link in here that I can click that will gives you a secondary, more detailed article.
You don't click anything right now. You'll disappear on us.
No, I'm not going to click it, but I'm going to give it to you at the end of the show so you can put it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, awesome. And look at this. So Parky Marky, look at this. I've been using Ambraxol for a year or so. I read about it online. It's branded as
Mucosan. So I wonder what Mucosan is.
Yeah, look at that in Spain. So that's pretty cool. And Sue's like, Brian, thank you for explaining what you read read for the rest of us. There's so much hope out there. You're right, Sue. There's a lot of hope.
Thanks.
And Clivey, excellent, Brian.
Thanks, Clive. Hope your team won today.
There you are. All right, who's ready? You know what, Brian? I'm ready. We waited till the end here, but let's get going. You know what time it is? It is absolutely that time. And if you're ready, I'm ready, and we are going to get into this.
Get ready for the only game show where the stakes are low, but the side eyes are high. It's time for Shaky or Fakey, the game where one fact is true, one is totally made up, and Bryce and Brian pretend they studied. Will they nail the neuroscience or flunk the funk? Play along in the comments and see if you can beat the bros. Let the Shaky showdown begin.
All right, here we go. We're going to get right into this. Shaky or Fakey, play along with us in the comments, whether you're live or in the replay. Again, just put the question number 1 and Shaky or Fakey. Shaky being true, Fakey being false. And Brian, we didn't play this last week, so I've got a few questions stacked up, and we're going to get right into it. You ready? Everybody in the comments ready? You're going to try to do better than Brian because it's going to be a tough one. I'm going to tell you, everybody, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Here we go. Here's question number 1, Shaky Fakey. There's evidence that Parkinson's tremor frequency actually syncs with the patient's heartbeat. Is that Shaky or Fakey? There's evidence that Parkinson's tremor frequency actually syncs with the patient's heartbeat. So in the comments, 1 would be Shaky or Fakey, and just put it in there and let's see how you do. Let's beat some Brian today. Brian, I think he wasted his brain power on that last on the whole episode there. So all right, here they come, Brian. We got them coming in here. We got some Shakies, we got some Fakies, we got some F's and some S's. What do you figure?
So just read it to me one more time.
Okay,
I've got my answer, but I want to hear.
For sure. Here we go. Okay. There's evidence that Parkinson's tremor frequency actually syncs with the patient's heartbeat.
So what immediately popped into my mind was the beach band. It is a pulsating frequency device that does make a difference to most people. So I went Shaky.
You went Shaky. Well, there was a couple Shakies in the comments, but the majority of people said Fakey, and that is Fakey. Tremor is usually 4 to 6 hertz and unrelated to cardiac rhythm, but the phasing sounds legit. The phrasing sounds legit. Like, in other words,
Then how does this thing on my wrist that I've been wearing for like 7 weeks now, and I haven't froze once in those 7 weeks?
But does it sync to is it doing it the same as your heartbeat?
No. It's set to the heartbeat of a pregnant woman in her 3rd trimester. So it is set to a heartbeat.
So what you're saying, Brian, is that you do really well when you pretend you're a pregnant woman in her 3rd trimester. You don't freeze. Is that
I don't freeze. And that's huge.
No, it's a big deal. It just sounds funny. So anyway, all right. I don't know, right? I'm just telling you what I know. I just don't. Okay, so okay, that's awesome. Sorry, my brain, I see things. I see things. Okay, Brian's 0 for 1.
All right.
And,
The name of that is I'm 0 for 1.
Brian, the big news is today that Brian's 0 for 1. You ready?
Yep.
You ready for this one?
Yep.
All right, this is a good one. Question number 2. Shake your fakey, everyone. Levodopa was first extracted from fava beans. Levodopa was first extracted from fava beans. F-A-V-A beans. F-A-V-I beans. F-A-V-A beans. Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Fava? Does that sound right?
Yeah, sounds right.
All right, here come the answers in the comments. Rick's in there, and Iris is in there, and Paul's in there. Margaret's 0 for 1. Brian, she says we're in good company. I always would like to be in Margaret's company, so I'm good with that. So we got.
I've read a lot on levodopa.
You have you?
I know that it was introduced in 1967, and it hasn't been replaced. It's the gold standard. I don't believe that fava has anything to do with it.
So that's Fakey?
That is.
All right, that's Fakey. So, Brian, it's true. It's Shaky. Fava beans contain natural L-dopa, the drug's namesake. Now, I'll tell you why I know this. Let me tell you why I know this. Because someone actually said to me, stop taking your made-up levodopa and start eating fava beans. And I was like, what? So I asked my doctor about it. I'm like, what are these fava beans? He goes, oh, yeah, well, you can extract these L-dopa from it. The problem with eating these beans are you don't know how much you're getting, right? There's a little bit in all the different kinds, but it actually can be extracted from a fava bean. All right. Eat those beans. Everybody's saying, eat those beans. So Parky Marky's 2 for 2. Look at that. Parky Marky's 2 for 2. Margaret went shaky on that one. So Brian, guess what? She's not with you in the basement anymore. Iris is 2 for 2. Brian's 0 for 2. This is a good start for Bryce. Okay. Here we go. Question number 3. Everybody ready for this, Brian? You ready for this, Brian? Here we go.
Yep.
There is a published study showing that walking backwards while humming reduces freezing episodes more than forward walking. There is a published study, this is question number 3, published study showing that walking backwards while humming reduces freezing episodes more than forward walking. Brian, question number 3.
I'm going shaky.
You're going shaky on that one. We're going shaky. So Iris is in there fakey. I'm just going to see how many people are on your side here. Oh, Margaret's going shakes on that one. Okay. All right. Well, it's all over the board. Shaky and fakey all over the place. Question number 3, Brian, is absolutely shaky. That's a true study. Can you believe that one? Yep. Small 2019 study in gait and posture. I thought that was wild. I thought maybe did you think that was too crazy? Like, did you think it was so crazy it had to be true? Is that, or it had to be shaky? Is
that was
that's
part
where
of
your
it.
brain went? Okay.
That's part of it as well. I've seen a video of a gentleman walking across the parking lot and he can hardly move, but he jumps on a bike and he has no issue. So I'm like, if riding a bike can do it, walking backwards can do it too.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Unbelievable. Okay, good job. All right, so you're 1 for 3. Iris said the same thing. That's amazing. It really is amazing. Isn't that crazy?
I am amazing.
I don't think she said I.
Oh,
I think she said wow. Okay, here we go. Question number 4.
Yep.
There is a symptom. Could be another unknown symptom of Parkinson's. Here it comes. Question number 4. There is a symptom called gait ignition failure, where you can't stop walking unless someone touches your shoulder. Okay, question number 4, shaky or fakey. There is a symptom called gait ignition failure, and that's where you can't stop walking unless someone touches your shoulder. How about that for walking? How about that for walking? Is that going to be a shaky or fakey? Let's see. I want to see a couple before you go, Brian. Before you answer, I want to see a couple what people are saying in the comments, because this is a tough one. Gait ignition failure. Clivey's in with fakey, and a fakey. Paul's got a shaky. Aileen's fakey. Iris is fakey. Lion and the Lamb is Fakey. Okay, Fakey. Okay, Brian. Gate ignition failure. What do you figure? Is it a symptom, shaky, or is it a made-up thing?
It's a nice title. It sounds so real. I'm gonna go Fakey.
You're going Fakey on that. So you are like with everybody in the comments, right? Actually, I did see someone was. So Parky Marky he's saying it's a shaker. He's saying shaker. Everybody else and Paul and Parky and Dolores. I think that's about it so far, anyway. That and Brian said Fakey, and to be honest, that's shaky. It's a real phenomenon. Tactile cueing can release the movement. What? What? So you know what? Let me tell you how I know this one. You know where I got this question from, Brian?
Nope.
My God. I'm like, I had to start Googling, why the hell can I not stop moving in the morning? So back to my story. I wake up. I tell these guys to leave my room. Like they wanted to hang out and chat. Like I was like, we're not having a coffee, guys. Like get out of my room. I need to wake up now, right? And so I kicked them out of the room. And now I'm going to get out of bed for the first time. And I'm like, and I get up to go. And in the morning, some days I'm a pinball, man. I'm flying. And I'm like banging against the walls. I can't, and I'll just go and I can't stop myself. So I started totally, I'm Googling this thing. Like, come on. Like, what does this mean? And I didn't even know how to name gate ignition failure. Gate is GAIT. Gate ignition failure, where you can't stop walking unless someone touches your shoulder. And that's normally what it is. Carmen has to grab me from behind. Like if I'm running in the morning, she'll grab me from behind. It's wild.
So I think that's asking, is it ignition or initiation?
It's ignition.
Okay.
IGNITION.
That's what I had. Okay.
Right? Ignition. That's ignition, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's true. Okay. So, Brian, what's one for four, my man? That's one for four. Donald's a 3 for 4. Good job, Donald. Look at that. And Parky Marky's like, love my Parky fingers. So see that shaker? I thought he was Parky. I thought you were just being cool. I'm like, that's not really good. It's a shaker. I'm like, I thought you were being cool. So that sometimes when I do something that sounds cool, I let it be. Like that was all me. It wasn't my Parky fingers. But anyway, wow. Yes, Eileen's like, wow, I know, right? Look at Clivey, 2 for 4. Parky Marky, 3 for 4. Like we're learning stuff today. Can you believe it? But here we go. Question 5, Brian.
I'm in.
Got to break that oneer. Here it is. Question 5. MRI scans of long-term boxers with Parkinson's show less brain shrinkage than non-athletes. MRI scans of long-term boxers with Parkinson's show less brain shrinkage than non-athletes. That's going to be a shaky true or a fakey false. And do you need me to say it again, or do you want me to? Okay, here we go. MRI scans of long-term boxers with Parkinson's, okay, show less brain shrinkage than non-athletes. Okay, MRI scans of long-term boxers with Parkinson's show less brain shrinkage than non-athletes.
Fakey.
You're going fakey on that one? Okay, and looks like we got some shakies and some fakies in the 5s. Question number 5, lots of fakies. And question number 5 is Lion and Lamb's in with Fakey. You're right, Lion and Lamb. You're like Brian. It is Fakey. It sounds really cool, but it's not proven. Exercise helps functionally, not structurally. So there you go. So you got that one, Brian. 2 for 5.
Yep, that's what I had.
I figured that if you get to 2, like if you get to 2 to 5, it would open the gate. And that gate to the bonus question, the big giver all question. So
GAIT or GATE?
That one's a GATE one.
Okay.
Right? There you go. So here we go, everybody. So it doesn't matter if you were struggling today. This one could turn it. Rick's 2 for 5. Clivey's 2 for 5. This, Brian, Rick, Clivey, you guys are all 2 for 5. There's some good ones in there. I think Donald, he was kicking it today. But here we go. This changes everything. Last question. This is the last one. Bonus question. Yawning frequency drops by 90% in Parkinson patients taking dopamine agonists. Yawning frequency drops by 90% in Parkinson's patients who are taking dopamine agonists. Sorry, Iris. Question number 5 was what was the last? Brian, it was
5 was Fakey.
Fakey. 5 was Fakey. Yeah,
The
5 was
boxing
Fakey.
one.
Sorry. 5 was Fakey. All right, so let me ask this one. I'll do this one more time. So here's the bonus question. Shaky or Fakey, everybody. Yawning frequency drops by 90% in Parkinson's patients taking dopamine agonists. And we got some Fakies and some Shakies and some Fakies and some Shakies. So it's all over the board here, Brian. You're not getting much help with the call a friend or call the audience because they're all...
Yeah, the yawning makes sense. The 90% is a big number.
It's not a huge number.
Yeah, I'm going to go Fakey.
Brian's going Fakey. Lion the Lamb went shakes. He's doing the shakes. And I'm so sorry, Lion the Lamb. Brian knocked you out of that one. That was absolutely Fakey. Opposite dopamine can increase yawning. So there you go. Dopamine can increase the yawning, not decline it. So that was a good ending, Brian. You came out and knocked it out of the park. Congratulations. I mean, everybody, cheers.
That's it for this round of Shaky or Fakey, where the facts are fuzzy and the fun is fully intentional. Think you can do better? Sign up to be a guest and take on Bryce or Brian in a future showdown. Just follow the link in the description, and you might be the next contestant on Shaky or Fakey. Cue the awkward outro music.
All right. Okay, listen, I know this is a long episode, Brian, but I don't want to just leave it like this. I want to bring it home with with one deep question, okay? Okay. And it's this. Brian, what's the one thing you wish people had told you early on, right? Like right after your diagnosis. Just one thing. I'll share one thing, you share one thing, and if you can think of something, don't put you on the spot, but
yeah, no, I'm good to go. In this one, yeah, for me, I wish somebody had told me it's okay to grieve. It's okay to grieve. You're allowed to feel lost, because as you progress with this disease, you are going to be losing the capability of doing some things. Get over it. Okay. I don't want to hear life's not fair.
yeah, that's good.
Don't, you're allowed to feel loss. And if you have to have a pity party, have it, but then move on. Move on. I tend to try to focus more on what I can still do or what I'm doing now that I didn't do before.
That's good.
I don't want to sound like I'm a know-it-all or I can do this, you can do this kind of thing. It's tough, folks. I'm going to tell you, it's tough as you start to lose some of your capabilities. But don't focus on the loss. Focus on the gain. It would be what I would try. It's not a light switch opportunity. That takes some time for sure. But if I didn't have this disease, I wouldn't have met Bryce. If I didn't have this disease, I wouldn't been introduced to do this podcast. I wouldn't have been able to, or I wouldn't have become an expert generalist on a disease. I'm just trying to find ways to stay positive. I'll leave you with this. I saw my neurologist last week for the first time in 6 months. So I go every 6 months. Yeah. And she always likes to test my mind and motor skills. We didn't do the mind ones because I'd done that a couple of weeks previously at my deep brain stimulation consulting appointment. But she likes to grab my hands and arms and, do I have strength? And while she's doing something with this arm, I'm supposed to be doing this with this and so forth. And I did all that. And she said something I thought I would never hear a neurologist say. I didn't think they would ever use one of these words, which is improve or improvement. And she said, Brian, it seems you've improved your muscle, your strength and ability. Congratulations.
Wow.
That was huge for me. I go to bed at night and I think of that because it's the happiest thought I've got going on right now. The World Series is great, but I'm not in the World Series. My team is, but I'm in the game called Parkinson's. And when she used the word improved, I could have cried right there in her examination room.
That's awesome, man. That's fantastic.
This is a degenerative disease. You're supposed to get worse. That's why I've always said, if I can wake up tomorrow feeling as good as I did the day before, I win. Knowing that wasn't possible, I thought. So I'm just going to stay the course.
Yeah, and anything's I mean, that's so powerful. That's so powerful. That's awesome, man. I mean, I haven't heard those words. I'd love to hear those words, but I mean, congratulations. Like that's fantastic, and keep doing what you're doing. I mean, it's so powerful, and that's such a good point. Massive win. For me, one thing that I wish that someone had told me again, was that vulnerability wasn't weakness.
Ooh.
When I finally opened up about my diagnosis after years of hiding it, I felt lighter, and I realized that other people needed to hear it too, right? So here's a tip, like talk about it sooner. Like silence doesn't protect you, it isolates you. And that's just one of mine that I stick home with all the time.
Love it.
Crazy. It's just crazy. And the thing here is like, if you're newly diagnosed, if you're going through this or you've been through it a while, that's our big push here. And big thing is like, you don't have to do it alone. You got to find your people, whether it's a support group, whether it's a local group, a program, or even this community right here. Connection will change everything. I promise you, And again, if you want to go deeper, inner circle, come to the inner circle. I mean, it's just what we do. We're hanging out, and we've got a lot of stuff going in the inner circle, Brian. We've got the boot camp starting up this week. We got our call coming up the week after. I think it's just crazy, but it's good. It's awesome.
It's amazing, and it's growing in leaps and bounds, and every edition just makes it much more of a special place.
It really does. It really does. And it's a secret. Here's the thing. You can't stop Parkinson's from being progressive, but you can decide to keep progressing anyway, emotionally, mentally, and how you live. And you got to keep doing that no matter how you go. Right? So, okay. Everybody, thank you so much for spending your Sunday with us, right? We don't take it lightly. We thank you that you show up every week. Your comments, you share your stories, and you're with us. We love it.
Yeah, you could be anywhere right now, but you're here. And that means a lot to Bryce and I. It really does. We've got new people on this call this week, and we've got a bunch of regulars as well. And whether whichever one of those categories you fit in, thanks for coming out today. We enjoyed spending this time with you. And we hope you had a few laughs, you learned a little bit, and you feel better about where you're at and where you're going.
There you go. There you go. And Brian, I'm going to leave you with the Bryce-ism, of course.
Oh, yes.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. This is what I'm thinking right now. With Parkinson's, no one gives you a manual, just a diagnosis. The rest you figure out the hard way. One laugh, one stumble, and one day at a time.
Love it.
There you are. Awesome. All right. Well, everybody, you know what? Until next time, Brian, you have a great week. And everybody else, you keep showing up, keep laughing, and you keep your life in motion. And we'll see you next Sunday. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
You did it. You made it through another episode of Life in Motion. That's 20 to 30 minutes you could have spent folding laundry, Googling your symptoms, or rearranging the 14 pill bottles on your nightstand. Instead, you hung out with Bryce and Brian. That's friendship. Or questionable time management. Either way, we're grateful. Be sure to follow the show, leave a review, or just yell, "I have Parkinson's and I'm fabulous," into your backyard. We'll hear you. Probably. New episodes drop regularly, unless we both forget. Until next time, keep laughing, keep shaking things up. And if you find our train of thought, please return it.